Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar on 6 tips to protect your kids from cyberbullying. This webinar will be presented by Mr. Nikhil More. Nikhil is an online marketing expert at Quick Heal Technologies Limited and has over 9 years of experience into digital marketing and a passion for technology, usability, and photography. Nikhil is also a recognized expert in the internet marketing strategies for the antivirus industry. At Quick Heal, Nikhil is associated with the Cybersecurity program, which is the company's corporate social responsibility initiative. I will now hand over the proceedings of this webinar to Nikhil.
Thank you, Saurabh, for this warm introduction and welcome everyone on today's webinar on 6 tips to protect your kids from cyberbullying. This is a little important topic in terms of concerned parents and people around who are around children and who are concerned about the safety and security of children when they access the World Wide Web. Let me set out a few ground rules before we start the webinar presentation for today. Uh, I would request all our attendees to park your questions for the end of the webinar where we would have the question and answer session. This webinar recording would be available for you to watch later, which would be hosted on our YouTube channel for Quick Heal. And also this presentation would also be shared on SlideShare. Without any further ado, let's begin with today's webinar proceedings on 6 tips to protect your kids from cyberbullying. Now, a very important fact here, India ranks number 3 on the global cyberbullying list. Children in India reported the third highest online bullying rate after China and Singapore among the 25 countries surveyed under a recently commissioned project by Microsoft Corporation to understand the global pervasiveness of online bullying. The survey report discloses that it spoke to 7,600 children between the age group of 8 to 17 years. What is seen as cyberbullying can vary between different cultures and even among different individuals. In addition, cyberbullying as a term not recognized worldwide. To address this, the study explored the issue by asking children about negative experiences they had online. From their point of view, being called mean names or being teased, etc. While such experiences may not be viewed as bullying by who all experience it, these behaviors may be considered by some as having potential adverse effects, noted the report. In India, the survey indicated that 22% children reported mean or unfriendly treatment, 29% were made fun of or were teased, and 25% of those children were called by mean names. The survey also found that 70% of children said they know a lot or something about online bullying, while 79% were very or somewhat worried about the phenomenon. 77% reported about being bullied online or offline. India is one of the few countries where the rates of online and offline bullying were equal, the survey said. Let's cover up what are the topics of discussion for today. We'll first dig deeper into what is cyberbullying, what constitutes of cyberbullying, what are the different aspects of cyberbullying, because as I said from the earlier mentioned report, it may not be same for everyone, although the experience is. What are the effects of cyberbullying? Now, although this term does not sound very alarming, but this term cyberbullying, when it is inflicted upon innocent children, the results are catastrophic. What are the tips for parents or guardians to protect their kids from cyberbullying? Very important one. And the last but the most important thing here is how does Quick Heal step into making the hands stronger of parents or guardians in protecting their children against this phenomenon of cyberbullying. Now, what is cyberbullying? Let me put up a definition for it. Now, cyberbullying has defined its actions that use information and communication technologies to support deliberate, repeated, and hostile behavior by an individual or a group of individuals, which is intended to harm another or other individuals. The use of communication technologies for the intention of harming the other person is the main core here. Use of internet services or mobile technologies such as web pages and discussion groups, as well as text messaging or instant messaging with the intention of harming another person constitutes cyberbullying. Cyberbullying can be seen as being distant from other forms of online behavior. Some see cyberbullying as cyberstalking, which involves a more strategic approach than in the moment of internet trolling. Examples of what constitutes cyberbullying includes communication that seeks to intimidate, control, manipulate, put down, falsely discredit, humiliate the recipient. The actions are deliberate, repeated. The hostile behavior intended is to harm the other person. Cyberbullying has been defined as when the internet, cell phones, or other devices are used to post or send text messages or images, and the intention is purely to hurt or embarrass the recipient or the other person. Cyberbullying may or may not know their target. A cyberbully may be anonymous and may solicit involvement of other people online who do not know their target. This is also known as a digital pylon. Cyberbullying has been defined as when the internet or cell phone are used to post text messages intended to embarrass another person is this phenomenon which we are discussing here. In other words, cyberbullying can be as simple as continuing to send emails or text messages harassing someone who has said they don't want or do not further contact the sender. It may also include public actions such as repeated threats, sexual remarks, pejorative labels, that is, hate speech, defamatory false accusations, ganging up on a victim by making the person the subject of ridicule in online forums, hacking into or vandalizing sites about a person, posting false statements as a fact aimed at discrediting or humiliating a targeted person. Cyberbullying could be limited to posting rumors about a person on the internet with the intention of bringing about hatred in others' minds, or convincing others to dislike or participate in online denigration of a target. It may go to the extent of personally identifying victims of crime and publishing materials severely defaming or humiliating them. Cyberbullies may disclose victims' personal data, that is, real name or home address or workplace or school address, at websites or forums, or may use impersonation, creating fake accounts, comments, or sites posing as the target for the purpose of publishing material in their name that defames, discredits, or ridicules them. This can leave the cyberbully anonymous, which can make it difficult for the offender or also text or instant messages and emails between friends can also constitute cyberbully if what is said or displayed is hurtful for the participant. The recent use of mobile applications and a rise of smartphones have yielded to more accessible form of cyberbullying. It is expected that cyberbullying via these platforms will be associated with bullying via a mobile phones to a great extent than exclusively through more stationary internet platforms. In addition, the combination of cameras and internet access and the instant availability of these modern smartphone technologies yield themselves to specific types of cyberbullying not found in other platforms. It is likely that those cyberbullied via mobile phone devices will experience a wider range of cyberbullying types than those bullied elsewhere. Cyberbullying also includes harassment. Now, harassment includes or involves bullies send offensive and malicious messages to an individual or to a group and is often repeated multiple times. Cyber stalking is one form of harassment that involves continual threatening and rude messages and can lead to physical harassment in the real or the offline world. Next is flaming. Now, flaming is a similar to harassment, but it refers to an online fight exchanged via emails or internet messages, instant messages or chat rooms. It is a type of public bullying that often directs harsh language or images of specific person. You can see an example that is being posted on your screen at the moment. The next one is exclusion. As the picture indicates, it's leaving out someone from a group. Exclusion is the act of intentionally singling out or leaving a person out from an online group, such as chats or sites. The group then subsequently leaves malicious comments and harasses the one which is being singled out. The next one is masquerading. Now, masquerading is a situation where a bully creates a fake identity to harass someone anonymously. In addition to creating a fake identity, the bully can impersonate someone else to send malicious messages to the victim. Now, let's look into what are the effects of cyberbullying. The research demonstrated a number of serious consequences of cyberbullying victimization. For example, victims have a lower self-esteem, they have increased suicidal ideations, and a variety of emotional responses retaliating, being scoffed, frustrated, angry, and depressed. People have reported that cyberbullying can be more harmful than traditional bullying because there is no escaping it. One of the most damaging effects is that a victim begins to avoid friends and activities, often the very intention of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying campaigns are sometimes so damaging that victims have committed suicide, which is an alarming fact. I'll give you a minute to go through the slide, which I would like to see. We would discuss the effects of cyberbullying in a little more detail, uh, especially when we talk about low self-esteem. Now, the effects of cyberbullying may not be noticed at first, but the stress factor builds up over the time. Many students experiencing cyberbullying feel alone and scared. In most instances, cyberbullying doesn't start online but in person. The situation then escalates. Some of the signs of cyberbullying could be not wanting to go to school or college, a sharp drop in the grades and the performance, skipping school or skipping classes, sudden self esteem issues, complaints of illness, use of alcohol or drugs, reluctance to let parents or other family members anywhere near their mobiles, laptops, etc. Friends disappearing or being excluded from social events, losing weight or changing appearance to try and fit in, fresh marks on the skin that could indicate self-harm and distressing differently, such as wearing long sleeve clothes in summer to hide any marks. What can parents do to protect their kids from cyberbullying? A very important aspect here. First tip that we would like to share is get involved. Get involved in what your kids do on the internet. By getting involved, we mean that you need to join the kids in what they do in their virtual world and their world, which is the real world. Become the companion, become the pal, become the friend there. One of the best ways to understand what our kids are doing online is to do it too. Create a Facebook page, add your kids as friends. It's no different than expecting to meet your kids' friends and dates. You'll be able to see what your kids are posting, what type of response they may be getting. Besides, you might have fun as well. Second tip is listen. More specifically, listen to their distress signals. Half of any worldly problem can be solved only by listening about it. Children are made to let out signals when they are in distress. They may withdraw from family and friends, become increasingly angry, moody, and sullen, or start acting out. And yes, this is normal teen behavior. Even so, these are all the cries for help. It is important that parents pay attention to these signals as they arise because the signals that something is bigger is going on. Speak to them. Ask them what is troubling. That way, you begin a communication with the children, and half your problem is resolved when the children speak out to you. Let's move on to the next one. Very important one. Don't blame your children for others' behavior. A very simple saying that we have: wounding a wounded never helps. Never blame your child for others' behavior, regardless of how the situation originated. It is vital that your child feels safe at home from these attacks. Make it clear to your children that everything that is happening has to do with the bully's issues, not with theirs. Try to make these attacks a positive experience for your children with your relationship with your children. Very importantly. Next one, educate them about what is cyberbullying. So tell them what is cyberbullying, why is it dangerous, what can be done to prevent it. You cannot fight an enemy without learning about them. Make sure your kids also understand what cyberbullying is and why is it so dangerous. Ask them what they would do if they were found themselves on the receiving end and encourage them to think about how the victims might feel. Have your children name some adults they could turn to help, or let them know if it's okay if they don't feel comfortable coming directly to you. The important thing is they find someone who can support them and give them any help when they require it the most. The next, encourage. Encourage them to find better and safer things to indulge into. Help your kids find safe things to do online, positive ways to express their identity and creativity. Rather than engaging in social networking sites, some kids like designing video games, composing music, exploring digital photography, or creating a digital art. In addition, encourage them to take on activities offline such as clubs, groups, sports groups, etc. Remember that the draw of chats and social networking is the ability to connect with other people. So help them find positive ways to make the same connections. Tip number 5 is collect evidence against the bully. Unfortunately, many bully cases start small and then become worse over time. It is important that you keep records of all offending content, which is messages, videos, images, etc. In case the abuse becomes worse, you want authorities to get involved. Then you can have all these handy. When malicious behavior is demonstrated with evidence, it is easier for the authorities to respond well and action accordingly. Let's come to the most important part of this webinar today. How does Quick Heal help in these kind of situations? Now, this came to us as a concern from a few parents few years back, where parents asked us if they would like their children to be safe on the internet, what can Quick Heal do about it? And this is what we came up with. a few years back. Quickheal has always taken a strong stance against cyberbullying. Its parental control feature is one of the simple ways with which parents can ensure that their kids use the internet constructively without getting exposed to any of its dangers like cyberbullying or getting connected to dangerous people. With Quickheal's parental control, parents can block inappropriate videos or website categories. Uh, every website has been categorized under a section. These sections could be chat related websites, social media related websites, dating related websites, violence, adult sites, etc. So by blocking inappropriate kind or category of a website, you can safeguard your children from being exposed to such websites. Next one, block specific sites which you may feel are not right for your children. Let me give you an example. A lot of the schoolwork happens on the internet. A lot of information children gather from the internet. But under these uh, websites, there could be information about how to hack data, how to steal data, how to do stuff which your children should not be attracted to, which is ill doing or wrongdoing, which is being taught by these sites. If you come across these websites, although it is a category of knowledge or science is the category of the website, but if you come across such sites, you can block these specific sites, although you can keep the category open for your children to learn about other good sites in belonging to the same category. You can schedule fixed days and timing when your kids can access the internet at home. Very important. These days, parents are busy with their schedule because they have, their jobs to look into or their business to look into, and there is specific amount of time when they spend together with children. It's always better to be at home when a child is accessing the internet. So on your home PC, you can define the day and the time on which your kid can access the internet so that you are in front of him when he's doing it, and in case he needs your help with knowing something on the internet, you are there readily available. We also have a Facebook page where we share useful tips and updates about the computer security and especially internet safety for kids and teenagers. It can be visited at http slash bit.ly, that's bit.ly slash qhsafe. If you want to make a note of the website, I'll just repeat it for you. It is http colon slash slash bit.ly slash qhsafe. This brings us to the end of today's webinar. If you have any questions, you can start asking for with the Q&A session. There is a chat window where you can type in your questions, and we will try and cover as many questions as possible today. In case you have questions for later, you can write to us at corporatecommunications@quickheal.co.in, and we will be more than happy to answer your questions for later. To be connected with us on our Facebook page, you can write to us, you can visit us at facebook.com/quickhealav. If you want to follow us on Twitter, the Twitter handle is twitter.com/quickheal. The Google Plus page for Quickheal is bit.ly/quickheal Google Plus. The YouTube channel on which this video would be hosted for your future reference would be youtube.com/quickheal, and this presentation would be hosted on slideshare.net/quickhealppts. If you want to know more about Quickheal products, please visit us at www.quickheal.com. To know more about the cyber world and the happenings, visit us at blogs.quickheal.com. I would like to request all our attendees today to cast their vote and let us know your feedback in case you like the presentation or you like this webinar or not. We would be more eager to hear about your feedback as well. Let's begin with the Q&A session for today. Okay, we have a question from one of our audience. Can you please tell us laws related to cyberbullying? Unfortunately, we do not have laws in India related to cyberbullying, but there could be a resort that can be taken help from the police authorities or the other authorities in your area, so they can help you with these cases of cyberbullying. But if you ask me if there is any such law, well, there is no law at the moment. Uh, the next question is, how can I know if my child has become a victim of cyberbullying? Well, we explained in our in the presentation earlier. There are few traits that you can identify if your child has been a cyberbully. Now, uh, if you see a sudden change in the behavior of your child, of your kid, let me give you a few examples. If your child is not wanting to go to his school or his college, or if there is a sharp drop in his performance or his exam results that you see, or if he doesn't he's skipping school or he's skipping classes, or there is a sudden issues with his self confidence or self esteem, if he's continuously complaining about illness, if you see that he is using alcohol or he's gone into drugs, if there is, if he doesn't let his parents or his elders come near his cell phone or his laptop or his desktop, if he's avoiding friends, avoiding social events, if there is sudden drop in his weight or his change in his appearance, you know, if there are fresh marks of self harm on his skin, these are all the traits that you can identify if this could be one reason that your child is maybe a victim of cyberbullying here. I hope this answers your question. We have a question from Divya. Is this webinar recording going to be available? Yes, Divya, as I said earlier, we would be hosting the video recording of this webinar on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/quickheal. Uh, what is the best way to keep cyberbullying out of your child's life? Well, you need to communicate. This is the very basic that happens when you talk about cyberbullying. When you talk about the child getting exposed to cyberbullying, you virtually need to be with him all the time to keep him away from cyberbullying or the ill effects of it. I know this is not possible because that way you'd be intruding into the child's life. But what you can do is you can educate your child. You can tell him what cyberbullying is, what constitutes of cyberbullying, what is acceptable to hear from people, what is not acceptable, when to raise voice, when to raise concerns, when how clearly and he needs to communicate things with you. This is all as a part of education, as a part of home education needs to be imparted with the kids so that they communicate things with you very clearly. They know what are the right things to do when, what are the things that he should not be expecting or accepting, both the things. No, this is the way you can the child can safeguard himself against the ill effects of cyberbullying. I hope this answers your question, Kriti. In case you have more questions, please write to us at Corporate Communications, and we'll help you with more answers. We have a question from Ajay. Can multiple user quick heal be put on server and can protect the entire network and block particular site? Ajay, uh, unfortunately, this question is not related to the topic that we're discussing today. In case you have technical questions, please do connect with us with our technical support team. You can take down the number of the technical support team. It is 927 22 triple zero. It's 927 22 33 000. You can call them and they will help you with your queries relating to installation of Quick Heal on your computer. We have another question. Does cyberbullying affect the mental state of child? Yes, definitely it does. Definitely, cyberbullying may have effects to that extent that it can affect the children mentally. Unfortunately, we all have read about cases of suicidal tendencies of children, and this arises out of cyberbullying or cyber stalking. So cyberbullying can have disastrous effects and can these results can at times be fatal. So it's a very concerning, alarming phenomenon that we all need to safeguard our children against. We have a question: how to identify that we are being bullied? Now, to answer this question, in case you have you are being sent offensive messages or malicious messages, or you have repeatedly once you have asked not to send you offensive messages, you still receive these offensive messages from people whom you know, or if there is harassment, which we have already defined as flaming, such kind of public bullying events happen with you. These are the examples of cyberbullying. If there is exclusion, which is intentionally singling out or leaving a person out from an online group or from a group, this is an example of bullying. uh, Masquerading is where somebody creates a fake identity of themselves, and then through that newly created fake identity they start bullying you. So these are a few examples of identifying if you're being bullied. How to take actions against cyberbullying? Well, children need to speak out to their guardians, to their parents about cyberbullying. You can take help of authorities at school, and if you feel necessary, you can also approach the police authorities regarding cyberbullying. But as I said, if you are going to decide to approach authorities, please have all the evidences with you before you reach, because the authorities cannot act uh, all by themselves. They need these evidences with you. So keep those evidences handy in case you are approaching authorities. Well, we have another very interesting question here, and the question is, uh, if a child is being a part of a group that bullies someone else. Then how to identify that, and see, as an educator, as a teacher, we impart knowledge, we impart responsibility with that. If you identify a child being a part of a group who is bullying somebody else, now what can be done is, you need to make sure that your kids understand what cyberbullying constitutes. Why is that cyberbullying so dangerous? What effects the cyberbullying can have? Ask them what would they do if they found themselves at the receiving end of cyberbullying. Encourage them to think about what the victim feels about being cyberbullied. You have your kids, you can give examples of some adults, or senior teachers or people who are more popular amongst children, whom they can turn to if they need help with this phenomenon. It's understandable in cases where children do not want to approach you directly as a teacher, but then you need to educate them as to they whom they can approach in case they need help with their questions, especially regarding cyberbullying. I hope this answers your question. We have a very interesting question here. The question is not related to cyberbullying, but it's related to the child's favor, that the child wants to play indoor games, especially video games, and not go outdoor and do it. Uh, we have been asked this question before, and as a parent myself, I would suggest, when I want my kids to go out and play, I do that. I go out with them to play. That's the best way I do it, because when I go out and we go out as a family together, this is where children learn things from. I mean, children learn things from their parents first, than anybody else. So I think what you can do is you can set out an example by going out yourself, going out for picnics, not necessarily for playing games, but making him engage with the exterior world, with the outer world. That might help you find new interests, new hobbies, and things outside the house. I hope this helps you with your questions. We have another question from Kriti. Kriti, if you could just write to us at corporate communications. I don't think the example that you have shared here is about cyberbullying, but if you could just write more about to us, probably I can talk to people, experts, and come back to you with your situation. When I said there is no law about cyberbullying, what I meant is there is no specific law that is meant about cyberbullying, but there are a lot of other laws where wrongdoing can be punished. And as I said, the authorities have the power to punish the wrongdoers, but they need evidence for it to be done. You have a lot of laws in India which is related to there is a cybersecurity law also in India, so which also constitutes, but there is no specific law for cyberbullying. This is what I meant to say when I said there is no law against cyberbullying. We have a very interesting question here. It says, how to find if somebody is using a fake ID to bully you? Now, To answer your question, somebody who wants to bully me, or especially bully me in the case using a false identity of somebody whom I know, then what happens is, the person whose fake ID has been created will not send you such kind of messages. If we are talking about platform like Facebook, through which you're receiving such messages, then Facebook has also very strict policies regarding cyberbullying. You can There is a Facebook securities page on which you can report that somebody is bullying you, as some ID is bullying you, and Facebook will take the strict action possible to make sure you are safeguarded against such bullies. And the similar is with the Google platforms as well. I hope this answers your question. I think we have answered all the questions for today. I would now hand over the proceedings for this webinar to Saurabh to conclude today's session. I thank you everyone for joining us on today's session, and in case you have any questions, as I said earlier, in case you have any questions, please do write to us at corporatecommunications@quickheal.co.in, and we will do our best to answer your queries. Again, I would request all the attendees of today's webinar to voice out your opinion about your feedback for today's webinar. Thank you very much for joining us, and you all have a blessed weekend. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being with us for this webinar on 6 tips to protect your kids from cyberbullying. We hope this webinar has helped you understand the importance of 6 tips to protect your kids from cyberbullying in a better manner. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye. And also wish you a very happy Valentine's Day.